What's going on, y'all? It's GumGumTCG here, back again with another video and another episode of Tournament Toppers. We got another one this week, and it's going to be my brother's green purple Doffy list. Jimble Jamble posted this in our Discord group. If you're not a part of the Discord group, definitely make sure to go join that in the description below. And if you have a topping tournament list from the past week or so, I'd love to see it. You know, I'm looking for first, second, third place at big events or locals, playing some interesting deck lists, you know. So if you have a list that you want to share, hop in the Discord below, share it in the Tournament Toppers channel, and I'll be sure to feature it on the next episode. Also, if you enter the Discord, we are doing a free, that's right, free box tournament once we hit 100 members, and we're so close. Honestly, we need like 20 something more members, and then we're there. So once we get there, we'll be running a free Discord tournament, and the first place will win a box of the most recent set. So whether that be soon when we get Kingdoms of Intrigue still out, I'll ship out a box of that, or if it's the next set for OP05, I'll ship out that set. So if that interests you, make sure to get into the Discord and share your tournament topping deck list and get in there so that you can be ready for that free box tournament. But back to the Doflamingo list here. He was piloting the GURPLE Doffy, the green-purple Doffy family leader. I mean, if you don't know this leader by now, you really should. It's a very strong leader, and it's popping up everywhere lately, playing the film package that is incredibly strong and generates a ridiculous amount of advantage in hand because of all the searching it does and all the just really strong cards. It's very hard to beat for some decks, and it has a really good matchup against a lot of the meta right now. So if you're interested in playing this deck, this might be a good place for you to start. Let's go ahead and look at the leader ability. If you don't know what it does, it's a 5k 4 life green purple leader. End of your turn, set up to 2 of your Dawn as active. It does have the 7 Warlords of the Sea and Don Quixote Pirates typing, so if you have cards that mix with that, you can definitely throw them in here as well. But most lists are playing this film package, you know, maybe a couple Don Quixote family cards, but other than that, it's mainly film cards. These film cards are just so broken. So let's go ahead and look at some of those. He was playing 4 copies of the Chopper 2-drop, and this effect doesn't really come up. I guess it can. It's Dawn times 1 when attacking. Rest an opponent's character with a cost of 2 or less, so you can rest a blocker, but it seems kind of useless to me. I'd rather use something else to rest it, like Sugar, but it's a searchable 2k. That's really why they play this in the list. Next is going to be the 3-drop 5k Nami. Insanely broken card. On play and when attacking, rest a Dawn to look at the top 3 cards of the deck and add any film type card other than Nami to your hand. So you can search for multiple 2Ks, multiple other bodies that generate advantage. You can even search for some event cards, which we'll get into a little later. Nami being able to do this not once per turn. If you have 2 of them on field, you're getting 2 cards every single turn to your hand, whether that's 2 2Ks or 2 blockers, 2 bodies, whatever it is. It's insanely powerful, and it's the main reason why this deck is able to perform and this film package is able to perform. The film package is actually performing really well in Asia's OP05 meta right now because of the new green film Uta leader, and they just play a similar package to this, maybe a couple different film cards as well. But man, is Nami such a strong card. It's insane. Next, we got the 4-cost 5k Brook. 1000 counter. On play, plays a film card or Straw Hat crew type character with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So a lot of the times you'll play Brook into Nami, or you will play Luffy into Brook into Nami. If you don't know Luffy, it's 7-drop 7k blocker. On plays a film or Straw Hat crew type character with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. So a lot of the times you will use Nami to search for your Brook or your Luffy, whichever one's missing. And then once you hit that 7 or 8 Dawn curve, typically 8, this deck does like to go second. Once you hit that 8 Dawn curve, you go Luffy, play Brook, play Nami, Nami search, and that uses all 8 of your Dawn for the turn. You still have a swing with your leader, and then at the end of the turn you get 2 of your Dawn restood for an event. So very strong and very advantageous. It generates so much board presence off of 1 turn. That's kind of crazy, and you replenish one of those cards in your hand. Absolutely broken. Next, we got 3 copies of the 2-drop Sugar. This is a new card out of OP04, 2 cost, 0 power, 1000 counter. Opponent's turn once per turn. When your opponent plays a character card, if your leader is the Don Quixote Pirates, rest up to one of your opponent's characters, then rest this card. This card is insane going into decks that play a lot of big bodies, because late game you can drop this on the field, and it's very low cost, and if they don't remove it, next turn they play something like, say you're playing against Katakuri, they play the 10-drop Linlin. You just get to rest it, so you can potentially keep it rested the next turn with your 10-drop Doffy, or kill it with something else. Insanely powerful card, can rest blockers, can rest anything, and on play it rests a 4 or less. So it's absolutely broken. This card's insanely strong, and for the cost of 2 Dawn, it can win you a game. Next, he does play 2 copies of the 5-cost Diamante. It's basically a mini 7-drop kid. Not going to talk about it too much. Dawn times 1, 2 or more active Dawn at the end of the turn. You set this character as active, and it's a blocker, so you can get a free 7k swing and restand it just because your leader effect. And yeah, it's nice to have another big body blocker on the field to go with your Luffys. Next, he's playing 3 of the 10-cost Doflamingo, and this is typically the big boss character of the deck. You know, uses all your Dawn for the turn, and then on play you get to choose 3 rested characters or leaders of your opponents, and they don't restand on your opponent's next refresh phase. Absolutely devastating, especially in multiples against certain decks. You just get to keep their leader tapped and their big bodies, and they just can't deal the damage to you that they need to win the game. Next, we got 4 of the 2-cost Shiki. This is just another searchable 2k counter, has the film typing, so you can grab it off of Nami or Buena Festa. Then next, he said that this was the main card that was winning him the games, was the 9-drop Kaido. This card is insanely powerful and has been since the release of the Animal Kingdom Pirate Structure deck. Super strong 9-cost character, just absolutely blow up. Sometimes you get to pop a 6 or less, and then it gains Rush for the cost of 9 Dawn, and then putting 5 back, 10k power. That body's not leaving the field unless there's a red rock in hand. I mean, absolutely insane. And with all the searching you get to do through your deck, you get to find it. You can't grab it with any of your searchers, but you get to dig through your deck and hopefully get it closer to the top of your deck so you can grab it, or you'll know if you put it to the bottom early. Next, he said that this was another one of his really strong cards. Instead of Tesoro, he's having a rough time playing Tesoro and it just getting outed immediately every time. He decided to switch it to Queen because Queen is a blocker, and on play you get that draw 2 instantly, whereas Tesoro, you have to be able to attack with them. So if you play him and then he gets outed the next turn, you don't even get to attack with them. You just wasted half your turn of Dawn. So Queen being that instant draw 2 trash 1, you can get some bricks out the hand, and you also can get some extra advantage and a nice big blocker. If you can't tell, this deck is very defensive and plays a lot of blockers up until they get to the point where they can play Don Quixote Doflamingo, lock a couple characters and leaders down, and then just swing for face a whole bunch of times with those big bodies. Next, they're playing 4 of the Film Uta, another crazy blocker. Rests an opponent's character with a cost of 5 or less on block. Crazy strong, searchable with your Buena Festa and your Nami. Speaking of Buena Festa, 1 drop, 0 power, 2k counter. On play, looks at the 5 top cards of your deck, adds a film type card other than Buena Festa, and then you put the rest at the bottom. Insane searcher. Can help you on your first turn to find your Nami, so the next turn you can have your Nami to do a search for something else, and it's also a 2k, just insanely broken. Next, we got the Punk Gibson, 3 copies of the 2-cost Punk Gibson event, insanely powerful ever since it came out. Next, we have the new Spider Web event, which is kind of like a bigger Paradise Waterfall. 2 cost, gains 4,000 for one of your leaders or characters, then rests an opponent, or then sets a character as active. So a lot of the times they'll have a Luffy, a Queen, a Uta, whatever kind of blocker on the field. They'll block, use Spider Web, takes all the damage and doesn't let the character die, and then restands it. Insanely powerful, super strong card. Definitely needs to be a green staple moving forward in a lot of deck lists. Next, we got 2 copies of Thunder Bagua, just another 4k counter, then ramps you 1 if you have 2 or less life, so can be very beneficial after you use your Queen or your Kaido if you're down on Dawn, maybe even your Uta. If you're down on Dawn, you have a Thunder Bagua and you use it, get that Dawn back. Then he was playing the 1 copies of Hell's Judgment, another really strong card, minus 3k to 2 characters or leaders, just insanely strong. And then the trigger is also strong to make your opponent go -1 if they have 6 or more Dawn. Then he said his other spicy tech was the Union Armado. I thought it was Armando. Union Armado. 2-cost film event, so it's searchable through Buena Festa as well as Nami. Counter gives a film type leader or character 4,000 power during this battle, and then if that card is a character, it cannot be KO'd during this turn. So using this on something like your Luffy to make it 11k, and then it just stays rested. Your opponent cannot KO it, so they cannot run over it then afterwards if they try to bait it out. You could even do it to something like your Nami. If your Nami's rested and they try to attack it for, let's say, 7, Union Armando, give it up to 9, and then they cannot kill it for the rest of the turn. Insanely strong. And then the trigger, he said, also got him really good one turn when his opponent made him go first, so he was off curve. He got this out of life, triggered it, and it put him back on curve for the rest of the game and really helped him win that game. This deck is insanely powerful. Like I said, I have a deep dive video. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to go check that out. I'll leave that link down in the description below, or you can click this box right here and it'll take you right to the video. Check that out. There's a couple deck lists in there, and it talks about some of the potential cards that you could play for that. So definitely be sure to go check that out. Also, make sure to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I really appreciate it if you would. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we're hoping to get there by the end of the year. So if you're not subscribed and you want to see more tournament topping deck lists and deck breakdowns and things like that, content like this, make sure to subscribe and you'll see some more of my content in the future. Next, I wanted to talk about his matchups. So he said that his matchups were Rob Lucci, round 1. So I think he had a decent game with that. And yeah, nothing too crazy. I think he said that the Kaido won him the game. He was able to play it, pop a blocker, and then was able to run over the leader. So had a good matchup against that. Then he said he had a really solid game against Katakuri, very back and forth. And yeah, I feel like this deck has a really good Katakuri matchup because they play those 10 drops. If you have Sugar on field, you rest them. You still have all your blockers active, and then next turn you get to lock them with Doflamingo, so their leader cannot attack and their big mom cannot attack, and it can be really devastating in multiples. Then his last matchup was Queen, which I feel like Queen has a very hard matchup with this game, or with this deck, because of the 10-drop Doffy. However, he said he didn't even have to use one that game. He said that his blockers controlled the board, and the 9-drop Kaido also came in clutch for him there too. So he also said he's thinking about running more 9-drop Kaidos because this card's just so strong in this list, and seeing it more often could help him win more games. But let me know what you think about this list, and if you want to try it out or not. Let me know what your list is, and if you have a tournament topping deck list, make sure to drop it down in my Discord. Join the Discord in the link below. Also, I wanted to shout out Dueling Guard. If you haven't heard of Dueling Guard, they are an amazing TCG accessory company that makes anime-inspired TCG accessories such as binders, deck boxes, and playmats. If you haven't checked them out before, they've got some amazing designs out right now, like a Prince of Sands Vegeta box, a Grand Line Treasures box that has Boa, Nami, and Robin on it, and they also have a couple more and some beautiful playmats. Definitely make sure to go check them out in the link in the description below. I'll leave a link to that with a code GumGumTCG you can use for a discount at checkout. What? You haven't heard of Dueling Guard? Dueling Guard is the best TCG accessory company on the market. They have high quality deck boxes, binders, and playmats made for people who enjoy playing and collecting trading card games in style. They have tons of designs based off of fan favorite animes such as One Piece, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, and many more. They hit the ground running earlier this year, making high quality TCG accessories with beautiful designs that have sold out many times. So if you haven't picked up any of their products, make sure to do so before they sell out again. I have a few deck boxes and playmats from them already and can attest to how they don't cut any corners when it comes to quality, performance, and design. I highly recommend their products and use them every time I play cards. Be sure to check the description below for a link to their site and use code GumGumTCG for a discount at checkout. Thank you all so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Like I said, if you have a tournament topping deck list you want to share, drop it in my Discord. I'd love to see it, and maybe you'll be featured on the next episode of Tournament Toppers. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.